Welcome back, everybody, to the Miami Realty Rundown. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ideal.
So we are going to talk a little bit more today. I guess not a serious conversation, but we're going to kind of run through real estate myths and debunk them, if you will.
A little fun today.
Yeah, a little fun. We're kind of exhausted of serious topics. I guess we just wanted to give you...
Mellow it down a little bit and have some fun.
Exactly. So, to launch off, topic number one. You don't need 20% down to buy a home. Myth number one. A lot of people think, well, I need to come up with at least 20% down. Actually, you don't. You can actually do 15, 10, 5, 3.5, 3, none, if you're VA. But you don't need 20%. Depending on what your situation is, more than likely you can actually get away with less. So if you are thinking that you actually need 20%, and I think we've brought on a bunch of lenders that have said
We've spoken about it before with lenders.
Yes.
Although 20% does help, obviously. with bring down your mortgage, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's definitely a huge myth.
Sometimes it makes more sense to keep the money in your pocket
Right.
than to put it down, because the difference monthly doesn't really change that much.
Right.
And I mean, other than that, with the 20% you don't have the PMI, but
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
It helps you save the PMI. Most people want to give a 20% for that reason, to not have to pay the PMI.
Yes.
But
But-
it's not necessary.
yeah, talk to your lender. In a lot of cases, you can get out of the PMI quicker and keep the money in your pocket.
Correct.
There's no need to give it to the bank.
Yeah. Myth number 2. Now's a bad time to buy with high interest rates. So how many times do you get that?
All the time.
All the time.
It's really annoying.
Yes. So let's think years ago when our parents bought their house, they were like at 18%.
Exactly.
And that was a normal back then.
And-
And people raised the, argument that, wages were different and everything was much less. Yes, but 18% on that on that salary or that lifestyle back then was a lot.
I actually had that conversation with my father not too long ago. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, but the interest rates are so high. I'm like, when you bought the house, interest rates were what?
Mm-hmm.
Around 18, somewhere between 11 and 18. So, no, I mean, you can see, you look at them now, they're not that high.
And this is normal.
This is what
You
it
know.
was before the pandemic, and everyone was happy with it.
Because they weren't introduced to that,
That luscious 3%.
yes, very attractive 3%.
I know.
But that's not going to happen again.
It's very difficult that it'll
Yeah.
happen again.
And if it does happen again, we know that
You're going to pay
home prices will go up because interest rates go
crap
down.
load for the property. Yeah.
Yep. And then we have that war again where people were lined up in front of homes for hours on end, paying paying money out of their pocket over appraisal, and then they were,
Yeah,
competing.
exactly.
So
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the interest. And worst case, if it does come down, and if it makes sense for you to refinance, then you do it.
right.
Yeah, you might have a little bit of closing costs, but it doesn't come out of your pocket either. It gets financed into the loan. You don't even feel it.
Right. And that's the key word, if it makes sense.
If it makes
because
sense.
sometimes it coming down half of a percentage doesn't make a difference.
Right, and not to, obviously, because when you refinance, you're going to redo the loan for another 30 years.
Correct.
So if you're too far into it, it may not make sense.
Right. Right.
So, all right. Let's move on to the next one. Renting is cheaper than buying. No. Most times it is not. Right now, we're kind of in the cusp where a lot of people feel that renting is a little bit more financially sound for them. But most cases, it isn't. It's either the same, you get the same, and it's yours, quote unquote. And you can obviously build equity when it's yours, when you buy it.
Right.
So not always renting, do you get a better deal?
It may seem that way monthly for a short period of time, but when you look at it long term,
Is the
that
difference.
you have not saved anything. You're on the contrary, you're just paying someone else's mortgage,
Right.
and it
So-
doesn't benefit you at all.
And a lot of the kids that we talk to, well, kids, I say kids like in their 20s,
Yeah.
early 30s.
Young adults.
Yes. Still feel renting is probably better for them. But
Right.
that's part of and I think we did a video on that too.
Yeah, we did.
where it's part of that's the generation that we're in, or that they're in, where they feel it's better for them, less responsibility. I
Correct.
think it goes there.
Yeah. But eventually, I'm sure that they'll see the point and
Eventually, they
want to
will. I
have.
mean, I think you have to at a certain point. Otherwise, when it comes down to tax deductions and when you make a certain amount of money, it'll start to affect you if you don't own something.
Right. Right.
So even if it's an investment, own it.
And Olga talked about that last time.
Right. Deductions versus credits.
All right, moving on to number 4. You don't need a realtor. Everything is online now. Yes, it's true. Everything is online. However, a realtor's purpose is to help you negotiate, help you navigate through all the documents, basically go step by step in the
Right.
buying process or even the selling process. Yes, any seller can list their home on Zillow or I don't know, for sale by owner, but do you have the time to attend to every single phone call? Do you have the knowledge of all the paperwork? Do you have a good attorney, a title company, everything that comes along with selling a home? If you're savvy and can do it yourself, great, by all means, go ahead and give it a shot. But most people at the end up calling a realtor to help because it's not an easy task. And on the buyer's end, even more so. If it's your first time buying a home, sometimes you're nervous, you're scared, so you want someone that can help you, guide you, not cover you, but like how do you say, I lost my train of thought.
What are you trying to
I'm trying to say like
advise you?
yes, there you go, advise. Okay, so going back to the other part, where did I leave off? Sure.
Guide you?
Okay, so when you're on the buyer side, right, a realtor's purpose is to advise you, guide you, and help every step of the way because it's not an easy process. It's the largest investment you're going to make in your life. So you want to feel some sort of protection.
There's a reason why we do it. Yes, obviously we sit down and we take courses and we learn and we figure out the best ways to get around
Right.
a lot of situations. But if you have a shift of 8 hours, 5 days a week, or some of you even 6-7 days a week, you don't have time to do a lot of the things that we do on the back end. Lenders don't call. The other side wants to be difficult. You got to be on the phone texting 4 or 5 people at the same time on the same transaction, dealing with the other person's emotions or thoughts and their difficultness.
So we're counselors and psychologists at the
Yes,
same time.
apart from your own. So no, it's not. You can do it yourself. Everybody can do it. It's not that you can't. It's that it does make sense to pay somebody else to do it. Just like it pays more sense for me to go work, right, and make more money for my family than cut my own grass. I'll just pay somebody else to cut
Exactly.
my grass.
Yeah.
Again, if it makes sense to you, but it's better off if you use an agent that you trust.
Right.
So we're going to number 5. We need like sound effects.
Yeah.
I need the buttons that they use. Guys, come
That
on.
would be great.
We need.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Always buy the biggest house you can afford. No. I don't know if they told you this while we were taking the 64-hour, 65-hour, whatever course.
Probably don't remember, but
Pardon, but when I say, you might remember.
maybe.
So if you never buy the cheapest house and you never buy the most expensive house in the neighborhood, you buy the one in the middle,
Okay.
right? Because the one in the middle will appreciate the most. The one in the top
Yeah. Can make sense.
will limit. The one in the bottom obviously will not appreciate as fast. So the one in the middle usually gives you the best deal. So I think that you should always buy something that fits well within your budget. Don't go too don't go too high, because then you can't save, you can't reinvest your money. You're throwing it all into this big property that you really didn't need. So if you moderate yourself, I think that you will come out better on the end.
Yeah.
And then maybe you will build more equity faster, and then you can always reinvest that equity into something else.
Absolutely.
'Cause,
Very well put.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have nothing else to say because you
Come
said
on,
everything.
I need sound effects.
All right, and number 6, open houses sell homes. While yes, it does help, but it doesn't all. A house doesn't just sell straight from open houses. There's so many other
No.
things that we do on the back end, marketing, door knocking, and so forth, where we're trying to expose the home as much as possible.
Yeah, now it's like major social media.
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
and I use social media a lot to advertise. And some of you get upset. I get some really nasty messages.
Really?
Oh my God, yes. Why are you posting this on my feed? You pay for this? It's ridiculous. But you know,
gosh.
if you don't like it, just guess what? You can scroll up.
Yeah, just keep going.
Just keep going. I get things on my feed that I
So
don't
do
want to see
I.
either.
I don't
and
really care.
You know, or you can go on the little 3 dots. What do you call the 3 dots?
Dang Karens. I'm just putting not interested.
Yeah, or not interested. Hide the ad, whatever.
Simple.
But yes, open houses tend to bring traffic,
Yeah.
but they don't always sell the house.
A lot of it is for nosy neighbors.
Yeah,
What does a house look like inside? I wonder how they kept their home.
yeah. I mean, most of the time it does generate something,
Right.
but for the most part, it's the other advertising that we do on the back end that sells the house.
And it doesn't mean we won't do open houses. It's just to debunk the myth of
Right.
open houses sell homes. It helps, but it's not the only factor that helps sell homes.
And if you live in a community where it's gated, it's even more difficult to do an open house.
Right. There's restrictions that we have to
There's
be careful.
restrictions, and then there's the fact that you need a code. How do you get the code to the person? Do you really want to put that code on a sign?
Right.
You know, that's security issues. So, yeah, I don't know. So open houses don't always do it, but
It sure helps.
obviously we do them. So let's go to home inspections always kill deals. Sometimes they do. Not always. Always is very harsh. Sometimes home inspections will kill a deal. And then that all depends on, obviously, one, who's doing the home inspection, and two, how your agent is guiding you
Right.
or, you know, giving you consultations on that inspection. When you do a home inspection, you're going to see a whole bunch of things, especially on the older homes. Things, obviously, years of wear and tear have taken a toll. But they put everything, even the stupid things. You don't look at that. You look at the major things: roof, electrical, plumbing, AC, foundation. You know, those are the things that you look at.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to change 5 outlets
Or a broken tile.
or a broken tile, no. More than likely, most people, when they move in, they're either going to change the floor or put laminate over the tile or whatever. So it doesn't really matter. Most cosmetic things you're going to change after you move in, and you're going to make it the way you want it, not the way they had it. So I wouldn't be too concerned with cosmetic issues.
I feel that what scares people buyers in inspection reports is when they put the prices
Yes.
next to what everything costs.
Which is, yeah, because they put
That's-
5 outlets and it costs you $150 to change an outlet. It does not cost you $150 to change an outlet.
Yeah.
You know,
And they start adding up everything. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
this is
it's
too
like,
much money
and
to invest into this
$30,000,
house.
I got it. No, you don't.
Yeah.
The roof is fine. You don't have to worry about that. The plumbing's fine. You don't have to worry about that. You know, all the big things are fine. The rest is, again, you're going to change them anyway.
And again, they're not contractors. They're not people who focus on doing these things. So it's
Right.
they're just estimating, and they're always going to throw on the higher end. So it doesn't really necessarily
doesn't.
mean that you're going to spend that much money.
Yeah. And if you're a seller, we always recommend that you do your own inspection first.
Pre-inspection, yes.
And do correct some of the issues if you can
Beforehand.
beforehand, so that when a buyer comes in and does their inspection,
Yeah.
none of it shows up.
Right.
Or if it does, it's already you can say, oh, it's taken care of.
Right.
So,
All right, moving
Next.
on to number 8. The asking price is what the seller expects. So before,
well, we have our sellers that are firm.
very firm, and then the house will sit there for days, and people
Months,
would
years.
and you have buyers who want the home, love the home, but are offering this much for the home and nothing more. and the seller says, no, I want this much for the home, because they firmly believe that this home is worth it.
Right. So I think a lot of people miss the fact that you have market value
Yeah.
and you have the value that the buyer wants to give that property,
Yep.
right? Because they're buying it. So when you walk in and let's say you're asking $500,000 for the house, which is pretty much unheard of these days. You ask for $500,000. So the buyer walks in and they feel, okay, well, yeah, maybe, but I don't want to pay more than, let's just say, $425. Well, that's what they feel it's worth. Doesn't mean that that's what it is worth,
Right.
but that's what they feel it's worth. So that's what they're going to offer. Now, that's where we come in and try and negotiate that to something that's reasonable for the buyer and reasonable for the seller.
Right. We can run comms, help
Yeah,
you understand, well, your offer is extremely low for the area, and go from there.
Right. Doesn't
Try to
always work,
educate.
but yes, we try our very, very best and use every tactic that we have or every strategy that we have
Right.
in our back pocket to make it happen. Again, this is where time comes in. That takes time. It's a back and forth, and if they have another agent, it's easier because the other agent will obviously understand where we're coming from and we can use more reason and logic than emotion.
Yeah.
Try not to use emotion when you buy things. It's what makes sense financially.
Right.
Things, your property is going to appraise, or it's going to appreciate, not appraise, but appreciate over the years. So if you kind of pay a little bit over what you feel, don't feel bad about it. You have more than likely you have equity going in, especially now in this market.
Absolutely.
More than likely you're going to buy below market value for the most part. So you're going to have equity, good equity from the get-go.
Yep. Moving on.
Moving on. You were at number 8. I'm going to go to number 9.
Zillow.
All right, Zillow. Oh, God, Zillow. Zillow online estimates are always accurate. Hold on. Where's my button?
How do we really feel about Zillow?
No, they're not accurate. They're off. They're usually off between 15 and 20%, either over or under. Zillow doesn't, they do run their own comps. They have their own algorithm to run their comps or comparables. But they don't really compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges.
Right.
They grab an area, or a radius within the subject property,
And dump everything in there.
Dump everything in there.
That's it.
And then they kind of give you an estimate. So if
So
you
it's
send
not
us
tailored to that property specific.
right,
you
so
know?
if you send us the Z estimate
Zestimate.
and we run our own comps, we'll usually tell you no, it's either under or it's over. Usually over. So I wouldn't be too
Confident in that.
confident
Yeah,
on the
for
Z
sure.
estimate on Zillow.
Okay, moving on to number 10. You should wait until you're married to buy a home. That is not true. Okay, you can buy a home on your own. Am I right?
You can.
You can buy a home with a co-signer,
Absolutely.
or you can buy one when you're married. That's not a problem. You just have to, again, go with a lender, make sure that you're approved and you can afford the home, your mortgage you're comfortable with, and so forth. But you really don't need to be married to buy a home. You can do it on your own.
Right.
And more
So-
power to you if you can.
Actually, I think that most of you kids, and again, I say kids between obviously 20
In
and
the
30s,
20s.
if you're not married already and you want to buy something, I would say buy it,
Yeah.
right? If you end up getting married later, fine, you can always have that property, and then you can buy another one with your spouse or your partner,
And you leave that one rented.
and then you leave that one rented, and now you have an asset or an
Right.
investment that more than likely pays for itself or helps you pay for the other one that you're buying with your
Absolutely.
when you get married.
Yep.
So don't wait. If the time is right for you, do it now.
And the numbers make sense, go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. Now there's obviously deductions and stuff that you can use to benefit you while you're married, but that's not a reason to wait.
Exactly.
Skipping on, new construction homes didn't need inspections.
Right.
Oh, we had a conversation about
We
this.
did. And I've sold new construction homes and I always say get an inspection.
Yes, get an inspection. I was telling you, I don't remember the guy's name. I should have looked it up after we had the conversation. But there's an inspector that has a social media channel, and he does a lot of new constructions. And he goes through, like, really with a fine-tooth comb, and he finds all sorts of things with new construction.
Because they're man-made.
Well, yes.
You know what I mean? And they're mass-produced.
Correct.
So there's always something wrong, no matter what.
In every property, there's always something
In
wrong.
any home. Doesn't mean it's new construction,
Yeah.
resale. It doesn't matter. You need an inspection regardless.
Right. So, but that just because it's new construction doesn't mean it's perfect.
Exactly.
No. Do your home inspections. Make sure that you go through what they call a punch list for things that are missing or things that need to be corrected, and make sure that they do them. Hire a good inspector that's up to date with code, so that they make sure that everything is correct.
Right.
And if you can do it while they're constructing it, so you can walk it while they're doing the actual job.
Even better.
Even better. Don't wait till it's complete and then run an inspection. No, you want to see how the plumbing's going, how the electrical's being run, where they're putting things. Are they putting, the 2x4s within the correct distance? They're not cutting corners, because sometimes they do. Again, they're mass produced. So they want to do them as fast as they possibly can in most cases.
And they have deadlines.
And they have deadlines, right.
They have to have a CO by a certain time frame and so forth.
Unfortunately, sometimes they cut corners. So
They do.
the more you can look into that construction of that home that you're buying, the better.
I'll give you a brief example. One of the latest ones that I sold last year, they had finished. They were ready to close. And for their inspection, the gentleman comes and runs all the appliances. The dishwasher starts to just create a pool of water in the middle of the home because it was in an island. And he ran the dishwasher. Can you imagine their furniture, everything there,
Everything.
and then oh my gosh! So thankfully they were able to fix it. I don't know what it was, but they were able to fix it before they moved in. So that was a minor headache they avoided before moving in their furniture and living in the home and running the dishwasher for their key. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's
That
not
would've been
always
horrible.
usually inside the house. It's
Yeah, it could have
sometimes
been outside.
it's within the community itself.
Yeah.
Their drainage system, their things that can go wrong, and then that affects obviously the property, the house itself,
Correct.
the structure. Your slope from the main property down through the driveway, does it right? Does the water flow down?
everything.
There's a lot of things.
Myth number 12: buying a fixer-upper always saves you money.
No, yeah, what button?
Error button. No. So let's think long term, right? So if we buy a fixer-upper, it's going to require fixer-upper
Fixing.
Yes. So if it's the kitchen is easily what? I don't know.
10 grand.
10, depending on the size,
Depending
the
on
material,
what
what
you
you want. Minimum 10K.
I've seen people put $50,000 kitchens.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Then you've got floors, you've got bathrooms, impact windows if you wanted impact windows. So all of that adds up. And so if you're going to be in this home for quite some time, then sure, it makes sense. But if it's something that you are trying to fix and flip, I wouldn't definitely spend too much money in a fixer-upper.
I think we should compare it like if you're buying something for yourself and
Right.
you want to compare it to move-in ready or something that needs work. So if you're willing to do the work, you might get it obviously a little cheaper than the rest of the neighborhood
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
not
Obviously, it
upgraded.
needs the work.
But you need to spend the time while you're living there if you have to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then get everything done little by little. And it takes time. When I bought my house,
Oh.
it needed things done. It took me a few years to get it done, but I got it to where we like it.
And that's where it takes sometimes the vision of a buyer.
Right. You need
To be
vision.
able to see that, right? Like, like I said, are you in this home for the long haul or is it like a 5-year plan, 6-year plan? So at that point, what makes more sense to you?
Right.
Am I willing to put the money in this home or do I want something that's more move-in ready? And that's really more on an individual basis.
Yeah.
But
So don't be like my wife. Sorry, babe. I'm throwing you under the bus. But
Poor Laura.
when we were looking at homes, she was like, I don't like the color. I don't like this. I'm like, oh, that can be changed.
right.
Just do you like the
The floor
layout,
plan,
the
the
flow?
layout. Do you feel the home?
Right.
You know.
That's what you need to be concerned
Right.
with. It's not. Oh, things can be changed. That's the least of it.
Yeah, it's just like I call it makeup.
Right.
You know.
Or if you want to move in ready and not have to do anything, then that's up to you.
Correct.
Obviously, you're going to pay for that up front.
Right.
The other one, you're going to pay for it in the back end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Let's move
Moving on.
All right.
Cash
Cash buyers
buyers.
always win. No, not really. I've done transactions where we've gotten cash offers and finance offers. Now, cash offers tend to be a little less than what you're asking for.
A little less. Sometimes a lot less.
I'm being conservative.
You're being modest. Sometimes cash buys are a slap in the face.
Yes, most of them are.
Jesus.
Sometimes they're a little less, rarely, but so no, they're not always. They don't always win. There are finance offers that are just as good as cash,
Yeah.
because if they put sufficient enough down payment, then it eliminates really the need for the appraisal. So it's a cash offer basically. You don't have to depend on the appraisal to finish the financing.
Correct.
So and depending on terms as well, inspection periods, how fast you're going to close,
Right.
a lot of things. So just because it's cash doesn't mean it's the best offer in the world.
Right. It helps.
It helps.
Obviously, because you
can make it easier, but it's
closing
not the
is
best.
faster, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean they're always
Yeah.
going to take a cash offer over a finance
Yeah,
offer.
you have to look through all the offers and see which one works best for you, the seller.
Right. Yep.
Next.
And last one, the highest offer is always the best offer. Well, Carlos just kind of went over that anyway, but it really just boils down to contingencies, the loan appraisal time, the inspection. So not always the highest offer may be the best one.
We can actually use our last transaction.
Yep.
Where we went with the highest offer,
Yep.
or we recommended the seller to go with the highest offer. That one ended up backing out.
Right.
Then we went with the next highest offer. That ended up not happening either. And then we ended up having to negotiate with the lowest one. So it's not always, just because it's the highest doesn't mean it's always the best
Yeah.
or the one that's going to happen.
Correct.
So again, talk to your agents, use their recommendations.
Their wisdom.
Yeah, and then go with your gut, and then hopefully everyone's on the same page, and you can have a smooth transaction.
Absolutely.
That's what we're all looking for, to have a smooth transaction.
Yep.
A lot of them aren't, but we try our best.
I wish they were all easy.
I wish they were all easy, but no, some of them
Doesn't
are.
work
They're
that
all
way.
different for sure.
Which goes back to the myth number, what was it?
Oh, we went.
You don't need a realtor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, stay tuned for our next video every Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
Tune in every Wednesday. We post a new video, new content. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let us know your comments, what you guys think. Any videos you would like to see in the future, let us know too. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Bye.
Bye.